Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? Good morning, good morning. Oh, Bitcoin's back at 110. Look at that. All right, so let's take a look at NQ here. Pretty much in the exact same boat that I was in last week. We obviously have this huge weekly imbalance here that I think needs to be rebalanced. So I'm looking for this area of price, so this weekly high, which I'm going to label here in black. And I'll make it 4 point font or whatever you want to call it, 4 point thickness, so you guys can see it. Or I'll make it 3 point, and I'll label it weekly high. All right, so we got that. Oh, how come I can't chat in the live stream? Can I refresh this? Refresh chat. Weird. How come I can't chat in the live stream? Well, anyways. Okay, so we got our weekly high here, and then I'm going to label the daily highs as well. So we did already sweep one daily high here. Let me remove this off the charts. So we did sweep this daily high. The next daily high we have is basically that weekly high. So that's pretty much what I'm paying attention to. One thing I will note, guys, we did just sweep buy-side liquidity. So we had a market structure shift on the 4-hour chart right here. We did come up and create an inversion gap, but now in the morning session, we have swept these highs. So I would not be surprised if we actually do get some kind of a sell-off here. I would have preferred to see London highs get swept, but the London highs actually are what took out this high. So I am going to be cautious here with taking any longs. In fact, I am pretty inclined to look for shorts, to be honest, maybe even to midnight to sweep all of this buy-side liquidity that happened with the Trump news. So we'll see what happens with that. Wow. Guys, look at the rest of the market. Everything is pumping. I want to look at some of my swing trades. Okay, Boeing is at 2.03. I am going to be adding to this swing once we fill this weekly gap here. So we're just waiting for that to get filled. And then I'm going to look for my target is going to be this monthly imbalance. But obviously everything's pushing. Tesla at 352. I've been talking about this for a long time, guys, but I want this monthly fair value gap to get filled. This fills at 373 and 4 cents. If we are able to inverse this on the monthly chart, I think Tesla is due for its next massive leg. Like we're talking 500, 600, possibly even $700 a share. The reason I say that, guys, is because if you look at the logarithmic scale for Tesla, we always have consolidation and then a massive distribution. Consolidation. This consolidation lasted from 2013 all the way basically till 2019. Then we had a massive distribution leg. This has gone from 2021 now to 2025. So it's a little bit shorter than the period than the previous distribution leg, but I think this will end up driving us much higher. Don't be too crazy with this, but just think about this return from the consolidation highs onwards. We were looking at a 1,500% return. So if we look at the consolidation highs and go 1,500%, again, this is not going to happen, but it was a different time. But we're looking for, I mean, potentially even a 80 to 100% move. If Tesla can get to 700, 800. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Tesla, but that is what I'm seeing there. Obviously, again, massive distribution leg here in the morning session. Let's look at the hourly chart and see what we're seeing here. Yeah, this does not look good for longs, I'm telling you guys right now. I think we're looking for Asia lows. Let me label this with sell side. So my thinking is that we're going to come down and sweep Asia lows here. And basically take out the whole move that we saw from the Trump event, or from the Trump news of the EU tariff pause. So if we do somehow get a retest of these areas here and get an inversion play, I will look for midnight opening price, and then I'm going to look for this sell side liquidity. Again, being the Asia lows. Very close to the London lows, but pretty much the same thing here. Excuse me. Let's look at the rest of the stock market just to see what is the top performer today. GameStop up 6%, 7%. Wild. Also some pretty big news today, guys. We have Elon speaking about Mars colonization, and then we have the Bitcoin conference this week, so that's going to be pretty exciting too. Let me look at some stuff here. How's SOXL performing today? SOXL up 5%. Wow. So I wanted to see SOXL fill more of this gap here on the daily chart. I would love to add SOXL if we get down to this 14 area. So I'm going to pay attention to that. Still nothing I see here on NQ. If we do end up coming back and maybe rebalancing some of this 5-minute, we can look for a setup to go short. So I look for something to trade into here and then something to take out this midnight price. So that's what ideally I would like to see here. My ASML is pumping too, which is nice to see. How's ASML doing on the day? Up 3%. I'm looking for ASML to hit this 811 area. I am going to likely trim some of my ASML position here for another 7% gain. But I think that ASML is destined to come up and fill this daily gap in the 1,000 range. If you guys are looking to add, this is, in my opinion, a decent spot to add ASML for the long term. So again, I'm looking for some kind of a retest of this 5-minute, and then I would like to see a short setup form. If we don't get an inversion, obviously I will not take it. But in theory, guys, I mean, look, we swept... Whoops. Bruh. If we look at the 15-minute chart, we've swept buy-side liquidity, and look at the 4-hour chart even. I mean, we've manipulated above, and now we're distributing. So we should retest these lows and probably go lower here, but I will have to see, again, an A+ setup for that to happen. If we look at the 5-minute chart, again, I want to see a retest of this fair value gap right here. I mean, if we get an inversion from within the fair value gap, I'll look for a short and I'll target midnight and then the London/Asia lows if we get it. So waiting for that retest. And what you're seeing on the right here, obviously, is the daily chart. So very strong, almost like a pin bar setup here. Right, we made a high and now we're made a new high and we're wicking. And I'd like to see this potentially close lower. So retake the whole daily high here. We'll see though. Because obviously, I mean, you can't deny the daily candle. It is green. It's very bullish. But if you look at the lower time frame, you can see that this is a manipulation and that we're likely going to stop out everybody who went long with the Trump news from the session yesterday. So here's the rebalance of that 5-minute. I'm looking for some kind of an inversion setup here. I don't see anything, unfortunately, on the 1-minute. Maybe if we get something on the 3-minute, we can try it, but we'll have to see how this plays out. Wow, ASML is going crazy. Oops. Okay, so basically what I'm probably going to be waiting for here, guys, is some kind of a consolidation into the 950 macro. and then hopefully we get some kind of an inversion play within the macro time. Because this leg of price doesn't tell me much here. Yes, we are rebalancing this 5 minute, and I'd like to see this reject, but unless I see some kind of an A plus setup to get down here, there's nothing I can execute on. So like there is a little 1 minute inverse here, but that is not A plus enough for me to take. So I'd have to wait for another distribution or another manipulation above this high and then take a short. How's ES doing? ES in a pretty similar boat. The internal high was lower on ES, obviously, but you can see in this case we just rebalanced this 4-hour fair value gap and we're rejecting. If you look at the other time frames, guys, too, we have an SMT on ES. So ES did not sweep its internal high, and if you look at NQ on the weekly, we did. Or on the daily chart. So, wait, where is it? Are we looking at the March 3rd high? Which one was it? Yeah, it was a March 3rd. So March 3rd did not make a higher high on ES, and on NQ we did. So that's the SMT that I'm talking about. So that's why I think that we're potentially going to distribute and even fill some of this gap here on the daily chart. That's my thought process. So again, there is a tiny inversion here on the 1 minute, but that is not A plus enough for me to take. If you guys want to try this, you can, but I think that there needs to be more. I need to see more price data come out before I look for a short. But again, my target's going to be midnight opening price and hopefully lower if we can get it. But ideally, this is going to happen within the macro time, right? You want to see your best setups form within a macro time. If you guys don't know what this is, type this in on TradingView, next macro kill zones by Cognito. And these are the macro times that I use. Primarily, I use the first three, so the 950 to 1010, 1050 to 1110, 1150 to 1210. And it's pretty much, if you pay attention to when the time is here, it's when the new hourly candle forms, right? Between 9:50 and 10:10, obviously at 10 o'clock the new candle forms, 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So normally you see the distribution leg within that macro time. That's why I have them on my charts. But again, from a structural standpoint, we're rebalancing this bearish 5 minute fair value gap, and I'd like to see some kind of a leg of price form in here to go short and target midnight. And again, why is my bias bearish today? My bias is bearish because we swept a major internal high. A lot of liquidity was taken here, and I'm looking for this to distribute and potentially fill more of this 4-hour gap. But I need to see I need to see something in this leg of price that's going to give me more confluence for a short. Which so far I don't see. If this 5 minute inverses too, I mean, we could potentially see a trade back to 830 and maybe a filling of this 5 minute and then a short later. Did we form any equal highs anywhere here? No. Interesting. Do we also have any equal lows as a target anywhere that I'm not seeing? Let me just check. No, not really. Okay, this 2-minute actually doesn't look half bad. So if we can inverse this 2-minute to the downside, that could be the setup we're looking for. And then we can use this as our stop loss, and then we can target this low as our first TP, and then we can target midnight for our second TP. Maybe an even better 3-minute forms here. Let's see. But I also want to pay attention to this 5-minute, because if we inverse this to the upside, I'll have to put this on pause for now. Because if this inversion continues higher, I mean, we didn't sweep any major liquidity here. We did sweep this low. We are rebalancing an hourly here with pretty strong buying pressure. But yeah, I'm not too convinced that this is a long setup just yet. Even though I think that if this inverses, we'll probably come back to rebalance this 5-minute. Maybe we'll get a setup from here. We'll have to see. By the way, guys, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if you guys are chatting or not, but I can't see anything. So, just letting you know. Okay, so obviously very strong buying pressure here. Obviously, this high seems likely to get filled now. On the 1-minute chart, it's this internal high, and then it's also a 5-minute fair value gap. So don't be surprised if we come up and sweep this now. Okay, so pretty strong rejection there before the high. But now obviously, I mean, not quite yet, but in just a minute, we're going to get that inversion play. So this 5-minute has now inversed to the upside. So in theory, guys, this should bring us up to this high. I am not bullish right now, so I'm not going to be looking for this. But if you guys want to try like a 1-for-1 scalp, this high is likely to get hit because we have now inversed this bearish fair value gap. And the next draw on liquidity is this internal high. I'm not taking it, again, because it could fail, but I mean, anything could fail, right? But I just don't like that setup because my bias is bearish. I hope that makes sense. Is there an SMT with ES though? Let me check on the 5-minute here. No SMT. Neither of them have taken their internal high here. But yeah, this looks pretty likely to go up and fill this. And not quite, but almost there. Okay, is there an SMT now? Nope, still no SMT. Okay, so there is a little order block here that we're trading into. This should come up and sweep this high. Again, I'm not taking this long, but in theory, guys, because we inverted this 5-minute fair value gap right here, this high should come. I do think this 3-minute inversion's pretty decent to the downside, but it's a little small. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this leg of price, I'll be honest. Yeah, for those of you guys on X, I just want to make sure because I have this streaming on multiple platforms, but can you guys chat on X? If you're on X watching this, just comment 1 or something. I want to make sure it's working properly. Oh. Okay, so still no trade up to this internal high. I think they're giving us a little trouble here. But when I look at this from any time frame, I'm not seeing anything A+. Like, I'm not seeing any A+ for value gaps to look for a downside target here. I don't like how we came up very close to this high and we're rejecting like this. But nothing amazing, I'll be honest. And again, I'm just looking for some kind of a setup to continue to the downside here because we swept major liquidity. Eventually, my target is going to be the weekly high here. I just want to see some kind of continuation down here first to sweep some more liquidity. So like some part, like close to the low of this weekly candle or this weekly fair value gap, and then see a long setup form. But there is no denying we are getting a bullish reaction out of this hourly fair value gap. Could this bring us higher here? Sure, we have a lot more of this hourly fair value gap that's unmitigated. This was the bond auction, if you guys remember. There was a bond auction last week, and we had a huge sell-off after the bond auction. So, also, if you guys don't know, the bond auction was a... Okay, so there's a 5-minute... There is that 5-minute high. Now that we've swept this and we've touched into 830, if I can get a really nice looking 1-minute inversion here, I think this will be a decent short to take. So for example, if we get some kind of an inversion here, I'll see how this candle holds, but that would end up being a pretty decent short in my view. So something like that, and then you could target the lows that formed today, and then if that what the hell? Whoops. Sorry, guys. So yeah, if this 1-minute holds like this to me is a pretty decent short. Then we'll target the lows that formed, and then after that, we will look for probably 830. Charlie, what's up? Good morning, sir. I haven't heard from you in a while. Everything okay, Charlie? I was getting worried for a second. Also, guys, make sure you like the stream if you're in here. It helps the algos. I don't know who here is on YouTube here, who here is on X, but I'm seeing people from different platforms. A lot of yard work, huh? All good, Charlie. No, I'm glad to see you here. I was getting worried because I hadn't heard from you. I was actually gonna try reaching out just to make sure you were okay. But we had a few pretty good trading days last week, Charlie. I was sad not to see you there, but um, yeah, pretty good trading days. All right, so I'm looking for this 1 minute to potentially get rebalanced now. We haven't swept it just yet, but if you guys are looking for a quick scalp, this fair value gap should get rebalanced here. But I will be honest, this 1 minute looks a little bit suspect to me now. It's a little too small for my liking, I'll be honest. But if we do close below this, you can try this short. Oh, it's raining today, Charlie, so no yard work for you? No, nothing on the honey-do list? Wow, pretty strong push here, I'm not gonna lie. Still no tag into here, but this should get tagged now. Missed it by a tick. All right, there it is. Not quite. NQ a lot stronger than ES right now. A lot stronger. Okay, there's the rebalance of the 1 minute. Very interesting, though. Trying to see if there's any good inversions, but the only one I see is this 1 minute, and it's not A+. It's a little bit small. Come on, y'all. Let's get some more likes in here. I need the algorithms to pump this video so other people can see it. Okay, 3 minute order block. Trading into the 3 minute fair value gap. Nothing I love. If you took this 5 minute inversion here, congrats. You're obviously benefiting from this move higher. If this closes above, I think we'll see higher here and we'll maybe even target London highs, but I'm still not convinced of an up move here. This is still a manipulation, so we could easily see distribution down. Manipulation above a high, lack of displacement. If we start displacing above this, then obviously my bias will have to change. But until then, I'm still not convinced this is a bullish move. I think this is probably going to be fake today, but we'll see. We will see. Maybe we get the short setup somewhere here. So like this manipulation. 15. Let's look at the 30-minute. Okay, we're trading into a 30-minute bearish fair value gap here. And we're sweeping above a high and creating a pretty strong manipulation here. Wow, that's a big candle. Wow. So obviously, morning session, we were incorrect about the bias. But this still could be a short. We just have to see a big push down here. So I will try this if we get it. And then my first TP will be this internal low. And then second TP would be the sell side. And then if we do have runners, which I will have runners on my fundeds, I'm not going to, I guess I can trade this with 3 NQ on this, on the paper for you guys to see, but on a 50K funded, I would not take this with more than 2 or 3 micros for sure. So I want to see how this 1 minute candle holds, but we have, technically this is a bullish breaker, but I mean, from a higher time frame perspective, I'm not convinced still of an up move here. It's just too, I don't know, just not good enough. Yeah, I am not convinced of bullish PA here. So tough. I'm not gonna lie, this is super tough PA to be a part of. Because really, what we should have seen, guys, if we swept this high, we should just we should have had a much bigger distribution down here. I don't like that we're pumping like this. If you're short, obviously, I mean, this high is suspect, but I was looking for this high to get swept and then a complete distribution down to target Asia lows. That was the trade idea for me today. So the fact that that's not happening, I mean, now it's one of two things. Either this is a very strong manipulation or I'm incorrect. So I'm not trying to, front run anything crazy here. I'd need to see this 1 minute fair value gap get a strong close below here. That would be the signal for me to go short. Is there a volume imbalance above here? Yeah, there's also a daily volume imbalance right here. That could be a potential target, but let me label this VI. There's a 15-minute high here as well. We're still, technically, we have not inversed this 30-minute bearish gap, but it looks like it's going to. And this high and this high would be the target. But again, I'm not on this side of the trade, so I'm going to have to watch this. I will say as well, there was news on X that Trump announced there's going to be potentially more tariff deals or more trade deals coming. So that might be what's pushing the market here at this high, but I am not a fan of this. Obviously, there's a bullish breaker here, low, high, lower, low. It points upwards. If you're ever confused about whether a breaker is bullish or bearish, draw the low, high, lower, low, or high, low, lower, high, whatever it is, I don't know. But you can see here in this case, and then you just draw an arrow. So it's pointing upwards. So this is obviously the bullish breaker. I know sometimes when I was a new trader, I got confused about that. I don't like where the breaker is forming. That's why I'm not bullish here, but in theory, because this 5-minute inverse to the upside and this one as well, I mean, this should sweep the next sets of internal high, and London high is probably the target here, but I cannot be a part of this, unfortunately. These two black lines are those highs, so we should come up and sweep both of these. Okay, ES is finally starting to push here a bit more than it was. It's still weaker than NQ. Let me see something. Wow. I'll be honest, guys, I was not expecting this today. This is a very strong pump here. I mean, could we be heading for the weekly highs instead of going lower? I mean, possibly. On the weekly chart, this obviously looks like a bullish setup. We have a weekly order block to go higher here to fill this. For us to get here this week, we're looking at a 306-point move, give or take, which could be done in a couple days. Okay, so I mean, obviously, looking at this chart, guys, where do you think the market's going to go? It's pretty obvious that we're going to this high, but my bias was wrong, so there it is. If you're looking for other targets, I mean, who knows where the market's going from here, guys? We have a huge imbalance here on the hourly. We could still easily reject, but right now I am not seeing anything that I like. If you guys are looking for, I mean, targets on the lower time frames, I mean, look at this, guys. This is the bond auction, obviously. I can't really advise you go long or short here. We do have the second standard deviation of the Asia range up here at 21,445. Could this be a draw today? Sure. What could also be a draw is the high of this new week opening gap. So if we can find an inversion up to there, maybe that we could take. But right now, what I'm seeing here is bullish market structure. I thought that once this hourly got swept, that we were going to reject and continue down to that London or to that Asia low. But it looks like we are coming up here, maybe to rebalance this BPR. So we have the new week opening gap and this fair value gap here. So maybe you could target this from here. We're looking at 39 points, so not terrible. So maybe if we can find some kind of an inversion or a bullish fair value gap, maybe we trade into one of these two. Excuse me. If we can trade into one of these bullish fair value gaps after forming this breaker, then we can look for a long setup from there to target this new week opening gap high. If we enter from this 5 minute, why is it not letting me? Let me take the magnet tool off. We're looking at between like 60 and 90 points, give or take, from this 5 minute gap. So this would be nice, guys. If we can trade back into this bullish fair value gap, I think that could be a good move higher here. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. So if we can trade into this, guys, and we get an inversion, I will probably look for a bullish setup here. I know that London highs have been swept, but this doesn't look bad to me. Daily chart looks extremely bullish. Hourly chart, this is tough. This is a tough call. But I just think, I mean, regardless of what happens here, because this manipulation did not continue us down, this is probably coming up now to rebalance this BPR. That's my thought process, which is why I think the new week opening gap high is coming at 401 pretty much. So we have two little bullish 5 minute gaps here. I'd love to see this one get tagged. So that's what my thesis is that we come back down, trade into it, and then we get a bullish setup from there to target that BPR. Has anyone taken a trade today? Anyone take this bullish BPR? Or this bullish 5-minute inversion down here, which I thought was terrible, but nonetheless worked. If you took this, you got some balls, I'll tell you that. This was a crazy setup. Right at market open, first 5-minute inversion. After a manipulation, that's crazy to take in my opinion. But congrats to those of you who took it if you did. This is crazy. So if this inverses, this is also not a bad short, in my opinion. If we get this IFEG here, and then it closes below, you would move your stop to break even here and target that 5-minute fair value gap. And then from there, we'd look for a long setup. See how this candle closes. We got 30 seconds. If it holds at this size and then we get an immediate close below, that's a good short. And then I would target this low. So the objective here would be to come back for this 5-minute rebalance, and you'd use this inversion as your short setup. Okay, so we got 5 seconds. Let's see how it closes. All right, so this is technically the setup. If we get this to close below, guys, I'm going to try this as a short scalp on my fundeds, targeting this low right here, and then I'm hopefully going to get a long setup. So this short setup should give me a cushion to go long later. Again, if this just continues to the buy side, there's nothing I can do, but I would like to see a short setup here. So it looked like this. That's the entry. Target is that 5-minute inversion. So a very small scalp, but nonetheless a scalp. Okay, so there's the trade into the 1 minute. In theory, if we're bullish, we should just use this to go higher here. But if we do close below it, guys, that's going to be the signal for me to target this low and this low. I'm just not going to long from this high up, personally. But in theory, this should be used to go up and balance this new week opening gap. But again, I'm not going to take this. If we get the inversion, though, I will try this short. Okay, I like this candle so far. I want to see a big 1 or 2 big candles here that close below this inversion, or below this fair value gap, making it an inversion gap. All right. So still being patient here. Let's see what happens. But again, if this closes below, this is going to be my short trade. Entry will be a 1 minute close below the fair value gap. Take profit will be down at this low. And why this low? Because that is the start of this bullish 5 minute. What I'm looking for is a rebalance of this to go higher now. So I'd like to see this close below, target that. I will move my stop to break even though if this low hits, because that is a little 5 minute gap. And if we're super bullish, we're going to use this to go higher and not this. So we will be super, super careful here. But this is where I'm looking for the entry. Stop to break even here, holding to here. Okay. See this continue down now. Okay, beautiful so far. I want to see it close below. Again, closure. Even the 2 minute. Oh, yeah. No, this actually looks good. There's no other fair value gap, so this is the one I want to see close below. Maitra, what's up? So guys, this is also not a reason to front run, okay? I would never front run this trade because this looks very bullish to me. The only way I'm taking this is if we get the closure below, because that's the only signal that I get that this is not going to continue bullish immediately. For all I know, this is just rebalancing this 1 minute fair value gap to go higher. Until we see the closure below, there's no signal to me this is a short setup. Dude, everything is pumping. My Tesla position, ASML is up. I mean, the only thing that's not doing well for me today is pretty much Riot, which is a very small position. I am going to look at selling covered calls on Tesla once we get past the... All right, so this is actually obviously getting a bullish reaction from this 1 minute. Hope you guys understand why I wouldn't have taken this short early. Again, I needed to see a closure below. Could it still happen? Sure. Realistically, though, we're coming back up to rebalance this BPR here. So pay attention to this high right here and the new week opening gap. We could still get it, but for now, I am not convinced. Do I like Bitcoin formation? To be honest, Mitra, I don't really care about the Bitcoin formation. I think that Bitcoin is the most volatile thing in the world right now, and they're doing everything they can to make a lot of people lose money. So all I'm doing is holding it, and that's it. I do not trade Bitcoin. Do not trade it. And I don't suggest you do either. Because the thing is with an asset like that, where we're potentially going to get trillions of dollars coming into Bitcoin over, I don't know, the coming 5 years, 4 years, whatever. Even if, let's say that some huge company or some huge group of Saudi Arabians end up buying a ton of Bitcoin, if a lot of liquidity enters the marketplace, there is all of your trade setups will probably fail, short or long. It's just going to get pushed higher and higher and higher. I don't trade Bitcoin. It's not the time to be trading Bitcoin, in my opinion. I don't think it ever is, but So it looks like I'm unfortunately going to have to watch this pump up to this new week opening gap. Again, if this short setup occurs, I will still try it. But for now, we have to sit and wait. Did we just form perfect equal highs here? We did form some perfect equal highs. So if we leave these and we get the inversion play here, I'll still try this short, stop to break even here, and I will target this 5-minute gap, and then from there we'll look for a setup later to target this. Okay, so I do like this candle. I do like this. I'm still looking for the short here. If we get the closure below, I'm going to take this short. Stop to break even here. And then I'm going to hold this all the way down to this 5-minute gap if we get it. Do 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 do. Again, I am not taking this yet. This could just be continued rebalancing of this bullish 1-minute gap. Nothing tells me we're bearish yet until this closes below. Then I'm looking for this 5-minute rebalance. That's why my target is down here. Again, the 5-minute for value gap is here. I'm moving my stop to break even here because we have a tiny 5-minute that we could bounce out of. Okay, so they missed the equal highs. If we get this, I'm still going to take it. Like I said, I'm putting all my money in crypto. Mitra, did you want me to yell at you on camera, bro? You have like a yelling fetish or something? So many degenerates. What crypto are you in, Mitra? Tell me it's all Bitcoin. If you're 100% in Bitcoin, I'll be happy for you. Other than that, and you're holding it for 10 years, other than that, you're banished, bro. Oh boy. Alright, so there's the equal highs. Again, we're probably just going to continue up here. If we do get this inversion, I'll still take it, but for now, there's nothing. Oh, damn, there's 18 people in here? Where are you guys at? Oh, they're all on X. Nobody comes on YouTube these days, huh? The algorithm's cooked. Okay, so now that the equal highs have been swept, I like this setup even more. But again, just gotta be patient. Not taking anything until it's ready. If you're on X, guys, multi-stream. Type something in the chat if you are on X. Can you even chat on X? I don't even know. I don't even know if I can see it. All right, equal highs got swept. Decent displacement, not displacement candle, but decent red candle. If we get the closure below, that is going to be my setup. If I don't get that, I'm not taking anything. Okay. Need to see more than one red candle here. Need to see a couple, and I want to see it close below the fair value gap. Do I know NVAX? No. Oh boy. Nice. I don't invest in any vaccine companies, barely any pharmaceuticals. I think they're all cooked. If you guys look at like what's their names? Pfizer and Moderna stock plummeted since 2020. Plummeted. Come on, markets. Let's get some kind of a setup here. Ugh, and now we have that 5-minute too, bruh. That's right, Charlie. That's right. So we do have another 5-minute. Wait, was it a 5-minute or was that a 10-minute? Oh, there's a 10-minute fair value gap here. Yeah, what's probably going to happen is we're going to come and rebalance the 10-minute and then probably go higher here. Sucks, but nothing I can do. I don't like that this 10 minutes here is now, that this 10-minute is now here. Because once this 1 minute closes, we'll be basically rebalancing a 10. Damn. So the reason I'm being quiet here is because I'm not a huge fan of the fact that we have a bullish 10-minute gap with a 1-minute inversion to the downside. The 1 minute looked great, and every time frame below the 10 looks fine. There's no inversions until here. But the 10-minute, I'm not a huge fan of. Because what can happen, even if the 1 minute inverses to the downside here, what could easily happen is we just use that 10 minute to go higher. And again, my target right now, my draw is up here, so definitely more hesitant for shorts, I'll be honest. Not a good setup for me today. And this is a lesson for a lot of you guys, because I mean, imagine me up here. Okay, I'm under pressure to take a trade because people are watching. But even if it like I have some pressure here, but just for people in general, they're always itching to take a trade. They're like, well, I want to be right, and I want the market to go in my direction so I can make money for the day. But if the market doesn't look A plus to you guys, you have to learn not to click buttons. Like, I don't know how else I can stress that to you. Like, I've been waiting patiently this whole morning for some kind of an inversion setup, and then I see a time frame I don't like, and immediately my brain is like, just don't take anything. Even though you want to, even though you feel like you've waited long enough and you've worked hard enough looking at the screens, guys, you have to learn when not to take trades. Appreciate you, Mitra. Yeah, I mean, it's the hardest lesson for a lot of people to learn. So there's a 1 minute inversion to the upside here. If you guys want to try this, I mean, that's up to you, but I'm not going to be taking this. Target would be this new week opening gap high here. And now, obviously, every candle that goes up, the worse the RR gets. So this is the RR setup now. Stop to break even at this high, targeting the new week opening gap high. Again, I'm not taking it, but it can easily work. Do 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 do. So we obviously wicked back down into the 1 minute. And in theory, this should drive us up to this high and then to the top of the new week opening gap, because the draw is bullish still. But I will not be taking this. Wow, 6 people on YouTube and 6 likes. Let's go. There's 20 people watching right now. I'm surprised, but most of them are on X. Oh. Pure viral, bro. So viral. No, I will be honest. My YouTube, when I not first started, about 6 months into YouTube, I went from 300 followers to 1,800 in a span of maybe 3 months, 4 months. And since then, it's been slowing down, but that was a huge pump. All right, so a sweep of this high and now a rejection. Again, nothing is A plus here. This is all consolidation now after a big distribution leg. Could we go lower here? Yes. I'm just not a huge fan of this PA, unfortunately. Yeah, I was on Mitra with his 1,800 fake accounts. Do 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 do. Like, what do you mean, Mitra? Do you mean you longed it for a short-term day trade, or you longed it to hold for 10 years? I'm gonna delete these equal highs off the chart. So obviously we have touched into this bullish 10 minute. And again, I think this is going to be used to go higher, but there's nothing A plus for me to take. If we want to try this 1 minute inversion, I mean, you can to the downside. We do have a little volume imbalance here that I'd rather close below as well. My goodness, bro. What a bad day. Not a bad day as far as trades, but a bad day as far as price action for me. My bias in the morning was incorrect. And again, just because my bias is incorrect does not mean I'm executing a trade. I have very specific parameters that I look for a short. Nothing played out. Again, I was looking for a short inversion in this leg of price. We never got it. So nothing is telling me to short here yet. Nothing at all. This 1 minute inversion, by the way, is still holding to the upside. If the bodies hold this and we continue higher above this high, potential scalp play here up to the new week opening gap. But until then, there's really nothing. Nothing that I love here. I will pull up, let's pull up Forex quick. I have a swing that I called in the community on the trading floor, Discord, whatever you want to call it. Where is it? So I am looking to swing the US dollar Swiss franc. We had a huge amount of volume on the daily and on the weekly, like more than I think the history of the whole thing. Like massive amounts of volume here. This is actually wild. After sweeping this daily low, I'm thinking that this is going to be the driver that takes us above all these highs and then these highs that formed in 2018 and 2022. But ultimately, this 2024 high, this little swing point here, where all these equal highs are here pretty much, is where I'm looking for a long. So I've longed already, and I'm looking to target this 0.92 area, and then basically the $1 plus. Okay, bodies are holding here. I think this is going to push us up higher. Only ICT. That's it. I swing trade stocks, I swing trade Forex, I day trade NQ, and I buy the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 for the long term, and I do nothing else. That's it, guys. That's really all you need. You don't even need to swing trade any. You can literally just day trade NQ and ES, buy the indices on red days. If you guys remember back in, let's pull up QQQ here. If you guys remember on QQQ, when we had this huge sell during tariffs, I was adding the crap out of these lows. I called this in my community. I made a huge write-up about it. But when the indices are down 10 to 20%, when they're down 10%, I always buy. When they're down 20% plus, I always buy. So I was buying at 10%, 20%, and obviously now we're printing. I think we're going back to all-time highs. No question about it to me, but it's just a matter of how we get there. And the beautiful part is, guys, when you add things for the long term, you don't have to worry about day trade patterns. You just let it continue the way it is. Just let the market play out the way it's supposed to. Wow. If anyone is invested in Nike, Nike is pumping. I think Nike is going to 65. Where I will be selling covered calls against my position. But I added Nike at 61, 63, and 54. Okay, there's the pump that we're looking for here. I think this is going to go all the way up now. If this green candle holds. So I'm looking for this new week opening gap to get filled now. Again, is there a setup here? No. This 1 minute inversion technically is still holding, but this is not a setup that I would take. One minute is still holding. This 1 minute inversion is still holding to the upside. Again, there's no setup for me to take here. Still holding. Again, could this pump us up to the top of this new week opening gap? It absolutely could. But who knows what's going to happen here. Do 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 do. Um, I think what I'm gonna do, if this new week opening gap gets filled without a setup, I think I'm gonna call it a day. But if I see anything A plus, I will call it in the I'll call it on in the Discord. But this is obviously not good PA. We're consolidating after a move higher here. Could we go higher? Sure. Is there an A plus setup to the downside or the upside? No. Um, but yeah, nothing else that I see, to be honest. Andrew, what's up, Andrew? Such boring price action here. Okay, so it looks like this 1 minute is... Oh, no fail yet. I'm going to stay on until the end of this macro, guys. The 11:10 macro, so we got just a little bit to go. What's going on with Apex Firm? I have gotten a lot of people talking about Apex, and they're sending out emails to people about trading with live accounts and that they're not allowed to buy evals anymore, which is crazy. I personally have not gotten that email yet, but maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I haven't even checked. But yeah, I don't know. Apex is acting funky, I guess. Has anyone gotten that email from Apex that's in here? Okay, so the 1 minute inversion is potentially going to play out here. Again, guys, I'm not going to be taking this anymore because we have this bullish 10 minute right here. If this ends up playing out to the downside and we end up rebalancing this 5 minutes, so be it. But I'm not a huge fan of this. So we're about to close. Let's see if we close above the below the 1 minute. No close below the 1 minute there. So this is just such bad PA, guys. I think I'm going to call it here. If you guys want access to all of the live trades, all of the long-term positions, swing trades, option trades, all that, there is a link. It should be in the description and in the chat. There is currently a free 3-day trial going on, but I think I'm going to call it here. Pay attention to how the 10-minute behaves, but if I see anything A+, I'll call it in the Discord under the live alert section. Thank you guys for joining. I'm sorry I wasn't able to take anything A+ today, but again, I'm not just going to execute to entertain you guys. I'm going to execute when I think something is A+, and right now I don't see it. Charlie, I appreciate you being here, and yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Oh, let's take a look at the economic calendar real quick. So I'll tell you guys which days I'll be on YouTube, which days I'll be in the Discord. So this week I'm gonna be on YouTube, which was basically today, and then tomorrow, and then Thursday and Friday are gonna be the better days to trade, in my opinion. Thursday, guys, make sure you're in the Discord at 5:30 a.m. Eastern. 8:30 a.m. Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. And then Friday, I'll be trading PC as well. The 2 red folder news days, I think, will be great. Wednesday, we do have FOMC meeting minutes. I will be live streaming twice, once in the morning and then once at 2 p.m. Eastern to see how those perform, because that can be a big market mover. But yeah, I will see you guys on YouTube tomorrow and then Thursday, Friday in the Discord. All right.